Okay, welcome back to the channel, and this is the long-awaited art book video that I feel like I've promised a bunch of times, but we're finally here. More specifically, this is my top 5 art books for techniques and inspiration, but even more specifically, I'm gonna be honest, it's mainly inspiration and a little bit of technique. But with that said, let's get into it. Starting off with none other than Drawings 5 by Jake Parker. For those of you who don't know, Jake Parker is the guy who started Inktober, and he's been known to put out art books over the years. This is the 5th edition of his drawing series, and I had to get my hands on it. Great book overall. It has a short comic following his Skull Chaser character included in the art book. He has a drawing tutorial for his character, which I thought was cool. I definitely took notes and inspiration of that when I was making my art book. Definitely used his as a blueprint in a way. And yeah, it's filled with just so many of his cool illustrative characters, a lot of sci-fi element in this. A great resource of inspiration if I'm, trying to come up with like sci-fi monsters, sci-fi characters, outer space characters. There's definitely a set of my own characters that are going to be space bounty hunters and whatnot. So I definitely look to Jake Parker for his robots, spaceships, outer space beings, etc. So definitely going to be using this as a resource. But yeah, it's just filled with good stuff. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, we got a robot hot dog and a tater tot and a pizza. Like, this is good shit. Robotic foods, if you will. Yeah. Not sure if it's still for sale, but if it is, highly recommend. This is a great one that I flip through every now and then when I need like just a boost, Very, very unique character design in this book. What's next? Next up, Dragon Quest Illustrations by none other than Akira Toriyama. For those of you who don't know, he is the creator and artist behind Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and a few other anime and manga. Probably most popularly Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z though. And Dragon Quest is, I guess, a video game series that he has been the, artist behind. I recently got into Dragon Quest XI. Haven't beaten that game, but nonetheless, fun times. It's just fun to see like Dragon Ball-esque characters in a medieval fantasy environment. And that's how I would describe this stuff here. Again, I'm going to be using this for just like elements of my work that might be following a fantasy style journey, if you will. There's definitely a lot of Final Fantasy VII influence in my work, but I just like, brainstorming monster ideas. And some of you might be like, I don't even really see that many monsters in your work, but there will be more, best believe. Swords, shields, all of that fun stuff will be more recurring in my work at some point in time. So I'll need, books like this for inspiration. This is just showing you like the whole Dragon Quest timeline. I thought that was pretty cool, but yeah, this is like a 30th anniversary, what am I talking about, of just like character design. One thing you should know about my work is it's a lot of character-driven work. Character-driven, narrative-driven, just artwork, whether in painting, illustration, drawing format. And as you can see, a lot of legendary looking characters here. It's just fun to see like this monster looks like Jace from the Ginyu Force from Dragon Ball, but he's in like medieval wear and riding a rooster. Cool shit. I don't know. It's really... This looks like a couple Dragon Ball villains put together. This looks like Omega Shenron. If you know, you know. But yeah, it's just... I don't know. I gravitate towards good character design as somebody who's trying to be a good character artist with my own characters. So this is definitely a source of inspiration when I'm thinking like sword, shield, monster hunting, monster slaying, demon hunting, demon slaying, etc. And that's why it's one of my favorites. What's next? Framed in Ink, Drawing and Composition for Visual Storytellers by Marcus Mateo Mester. This is the technique book of all technique books. This book has helped me immensely with composition, how I think of framing a composition, how I think of, you know, storytelling within a composition, how to create movement in a composition, everything you could think of. It's just like a great source for one, good composition, two, just like thinking of your art as like a camera lens where you're just like, okay, how close do I want the camera to my subjects? Do I want it far away? Do I want it up close? Do I want a top-down view, a fisheye, far away, up close? It just really... I read this entire book, and I'm definitely the type that buys art books and sometimes ends up just looking at the pictures and ignoring the words. But this is a book I actually read, and every now and then I flip back to, because it's just like, I don't know, it's just... You just can't lose with this, like rule of thirds, just like any composition question you might have is probably going to get answered in here. And like, it'll teach you how to like change the mood of your piece by just adjusting minor things. Great for comic book artists. Definitely as somebody who works on a comic on and off, this is a great resource, and a great way to challenge yourself, where you're thinking twice about, or three times about, the same image, with like where you want to frame it, from what angle. Definitely something I've been applying and want to continue applying in my work. Highly recommend, go buy that. I think there's another one. There's Framed in Ink and maybe Framed in Ink 2, or he's got a couple with like a similar name that I might look into buying. So highly recommend. What's next? Karl Kopinski, Sketchbook Volume 6. If you don't know Karl Kopinski, I highly recommend you look him up. I would throw him in the great category of artists that could just like pick up an ink pen and go crazy, like Kim Jung-gi, rest in peace. I definitely need a Kim Jung-gi book in my collection. Definitely sleeping on that. I should be ashamed of myself, but while we're here, we got Karl Kopinski. This is, I think, something he does every year. I think the guy finishes like 4 or 5 of those Moleskine sketchbooks a year, and then he just, I believe at one point I saw an interview where he said he had his wife, he just finishes a sketchbook, gives it to his wife, she scans all the drawings in, and then he has a new book at the end of the year. So let's take a look-see. And it was signed. Santa Claus. Just a lot of just like really cool you know, stylized ink illustrations, man. The guy is just like, he's sick, he's cold with it. Like, a lot of these I'm pretty sure like were no pencil sketch, and some might be, but I mean, like this looks like a pencil sketch, but looks like incredible. I believe he was a concept artist for a handful of video game companies, and I think he worked on Magic the Gathering. But yeah, this is another great resource of character design inspiration. We got like medieval Wolverine and Thor over here. Great stuff. Definitely inspires me to pick up a pen or an ink pen or brush pen, and a pencil sometimes. Yeah. It definitely inspires me to do those like ink sketch warm-ups that I used to do, where it's just like loose and like you're not trying to be 100% accurate, you're just drawing to get the drawing out. Great source of inspiration if you need Western type art, if you need sci-fi, if you need medieval, if you need animals, like you name it, he's got it. Comic book. Great book. Great book. Highly recommend. I need that Kim Jung-gi one though. All right, last book. Let's get into it. This is what I would call a hidden gem. I got this for my birthday a couple years ago. And it's funny, I got another Akira book for my most recent birthday. I got 2 art books for my most recent birthday. I didn't include them in this list because I still have to go through them. So anyway, off topic. This is Otomo, a global tribute to the mind behind Akira, and it's basically a collection of Akira fan art from like so many fire artists. And it's just, I mean, for those of you who don't know, Akira, classic anime, very, very cool movie. Recently reading the manga behind it. But yeah, this is just a classic hidden gem of an art book because it's just like fan art from so many artists. I remember looking through this and like Googling each artist to see if they were on Instagram, and just like discovering new artists left and right with this book. A lot of just like iconic Akira imagery done in very different styles. Like this looks crazy. Highly recommend if you're a fan of Akira. But yeah, you've got like these watercolor, semi-realism stylized pieces. You've got just all types of styles in here. I haven't looked through this in a while, but it's really good stuff. Again, I think the world I'm building also has Akira influences or Neo Tokyo influences, so definitely look to Akira for a source of inspiration for character design and environment design. Very iconic. But that's that. I need to do a separate video for just art of books, meaning like the art of your favorite movie, the art of Blade Runner, the art of, you know, The Mandalorian, because I definitely collect those types of books as well. I would do a best book for techniques, but honestly, I've only bought like 3 or 4 books for technique, and this is the only one that I've like read cover to cover and go back to. Like I have a perspective book that I'm sure is great, but I've like looked through it like maybe once. I also have another anatomy book, but anyway, I'm going on and on. I don't think I have enough of those books to do a video, and I'm definitely not as well read with those books to do a video, so that's why I did this one. because it's truly a favorite. Genuinely learned a lot from it and genuinely go back to it all the time. But yeah, let me know what your favorite art books are, and I will see you guys again later. I might do that art of book, top 5 art of books real soon as well. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Catch you next time. Peace.